Welcome to Module 2, Automotive Quality Ecosystem. In this module, we will explore the overall quality structure that supports the automotive industry. This includes understanding the various standards, systems, processes, and key players that form the backbone of automotive quality. You'll gain insight into how organizations work together, OEMs, suppliers, and certification bodies, to ensure quality, safety, and customer satisfaction. Let's begin this module by setting the context of the automotive quality ecosystem and why it is crucial for the industry's success. In this section, we'll take a look at the automotive supply chain, which is a very complex and multi-layered system. It includes all the organizations involved in the design, development, manufacturing, and distribution of vehicles and their components. It's truly a global network, with parts often moving across multiple countries before reaching the final assembly plant. The supply chain typically consists of raw material suppliers. These are companies that provide the basic building materials like steel, plastic, rubber, aluminum, glass, and chemicals. Think of mining companies or chemical producers. Then come component manufacturers, which are divided into Tier 3, Tier 2, and Tier 1. Tier 3 suppliers provide raw materials or small specialized components. Tier 2 suppliers make sub-assemblies or more complex parts. Tier 1 suppliers directly provide major systems or modules to the vehicle manufacturers, OEMs, like full seats or infotainment systems. Understanding these levels helps us appreciate how each part and system in a car has a deep supply chain behind it. In this section, we look at key players in the automotive quality ecosystem. 1. OEMs, original equipment manufacturers. These are the vehicle manufacturers like Toyota, Ford, Volkswagen, Tata, Mahindra. They are responsible for designing, assembling, marketing, and selling the finished vehicles. 2. Aftermarket or service parts suppliers. These companies provide parts for repair or maintenance after the vehicle has been sold. Some parts may be OEM approved, while others could be from independent brands. 3. Logistics and distribution. This includes the companies that manage transportation and warehousing of both materials and finished parts throughout the supply chain. Let's understand this with a simple example of a car's steering wheel. A raw material supplier provides steel and plastic resin. A Tier 3 supplier coats the steel for corrosion resistance. A Tier 2 supplier shapes the wheel and applies materials like leather. A Tier 1 supplier integrates components like airbags and wiring and sends the full steering assembly. Finally, the OEM like Maruti Suzuki installs it in the car during final assembly. This example shows how many layers are involved, even in a single component. In this slide, we'll understand the importance of IATF 16949 in the global automotive industry. IATF 16949 is a global quality management standard designed specifically for the automotive sector. It provides a unified, internationally recognized framework that helps suppliers and manufacturers maintain consistent quality across the supply chain. Let's look at its key roles. 1. Harmonization of quality requirements. Before IATF, each OEM had its own quality standards. This created confusion and inefficiencies for global suppliers. IATF 16949 brought all these requirements together, making compliance easier and improving efficiency. 2. Ensuring consistent quality. It requires companies to follow a strong quality management system, QMS, focused on defect prevention and continuous improvement. This ensures that no matter where a part is made, it meets the same high standards. 3. Facilitating global trade. Having IATF certification is like a passport for suppliers. It allows them to do business with OEMs and Tier 1s globally without needing to prove their quality again and again under different local standards. This slide continues highlighting the benefits and impact of IATF 16949 in the automotive industry. 1. Risk mitigation. IATF requires detailed risk analysis, contingency planning, and control plans. This helps organizations reduce the chances of product failures or supply chain breakdowns. Second, building trust and confidence. When a company is IATF certified, it sends a strong signal to OEMs and customers that the supplier takes quality seriously and is capable of meeting global standards. This helps in building long-term business relationships. 3. Continuous improvement culture. IATF emphasizes the continuous improvement mindset. It pushes companies to constantly find better ways to improve processes, products, and overall performance. Let's look at the example to understand how it works globally. If an Indian automotive lighting supplier wants to sell to a German OEM, the German company would normally send its auditors to India to verify if the supplier meets their standards. But if the Indian company already has IATF 16949 certification, the German OEM can trust that the supplier meets a globally accepted standard. This saves time and cost, making qualification much smoother. In this slide, we'll start discussing the key stakeholders in the automotive quality ecosystem, starting with the OEMs, original equipment manufacturers. Definition: OEMs are the companies that design, assemble, brand, and sell complete vehicles. Examples include General Motors, Toyota, Hyundai, Mercedes-Benz, Tata Motors, Mahindra, etc. Role in quality: OEMs are the final customer in the supply chain, and they set the highest quality expectations. They often provide customer-specific requirements, CSRs, which go beyond IATF 16949 and expect all suppliers in their chain to meet these standards. Expectations: OEMs look for zero defects, on-time delivery, innovation, cost-effectiveness, and most importantly, robust quality systems from every supplier they work with. Understanding the OEM's expectations is essential because their requirements drive the entire supply chain's quality performance. Now let's talk about the Tier 1 suppliers, a crucial link in the automotive supply chain. Definition: Tier 1 suppliers are companies that directly supply components, systems, or modules to the OEMs for final vehicle assembly. Examples: Bosch, ZF, Magna, Continental, Lear Corporation. Role in quality: they are usually IATF 16949 certified. They are responsible not only for their own product's quality, but also for ensuring that the parts they get from Tier 2 and Tier 3 suppliers meet OEM expectations. They cascade down both the IATF requirements and their own customer-specific requirements, CSRS, to their sub-suppliers. Expectations: must meet OEM specs and CSRs, provide high-quality and reliable parts, focus on cost control, global availability, and strong supply chain management. Tier 1s are like the bridge between OEMs and the lower tiers of the supply chain. They ensure quality flows upstream and downstream. Let's now understand the role of Tier 2 suppliers in the automotive quality ecosystem. Definition: Tier 2 suppliers support Tier 1 suppliers by providing components or sub-assemblies. For example, a company that produces plastic injection molded parts for a Tier 1 seat supplier, or a company that supplies wiring harnesses to a Tier 1 infotainment system provider. Role in quality: they are expected to be IATF 16949 certified or at least comply with its principles. Their quality performance directly impacts Tier 1's ability to meet OEM expectations. Just like Tier 1s, they also flow down requirements to Tier 3 sub-suppliers. Expectations. Must meet. Tier 1 specifications. Deliver consistent quality. Be cost-effective. Ensure reliable and timely delivery. Tier 2s may not interact with OEMs directly, but their role is vital for the overall quality and compliance of the final product. Let's move to the final level in the supply chain. Tier 3 suppliers and beyond. Definition. Tier 3 suppliers are companies that provide specialized raw materials, components, or services to Tier 2, and sometimes directly to Tier 1. Examples include a steel producer, a chemical supplier, a coating service provider, role in quality. Tier 3s may not always be IATF certified, but they are expected to maintain robust quality systems, like ISO 9001. They must understand how their quality affects higher-tier suppliers, and ultimately, the OEM. Often, Tier 2 suppliers audit their Tier 3s to ensure quality flow. Expectations. Consistent material quality. Timely delivery. Meeting specifications. Example flow. OEM. Ford. Tier 1. Magna supplies car seats to Ford. Tier 2. Makes metal frame of the seat. Tier 3. Steel mill supplying steel to that frame maker. The key point, every tier in the chain has a quality responsibility. Even the smallest component or raw material can affect the performance of the final product delivered to the customer. Now let's talk about one of the core philosophies in automotive quality: zero-defect mentality. Content. The industry's ultimate goal is zero defects, in both the product and the process. While this is an aspirational target, companies strive for it by robust process control, error-proofing methods like poka-yoke, early detection systems, continuous improvement, implication. The focus is on prevention, not just catching mistakes. Companies invest in strong design and manufacturing systems to avoid defects altogether. Even small defects are treated seriously. They are investigated and addressed. Example, in many industries, 100 defects per million, 100 ppm, is considered acceptable. But in automotive, for critical safety components like brakes or airbags, even single-digit ppm or zero is the target. So, in summary, automotive demands high reliability, and zero defect is not just a goal, but a mindset. Traceability is the ability to track a product or component throughout its entire life cycle, from raw material to the finished vehicle, and even during its use in the field. It includes knowing where the materials came from, when and where the part was manufactured, which machine was used, who the operator was, and which vehicle it was installed in. This concept is very important because it allows companies to conduct targeted product recalls instead of recalling every vehicle. It also supports identifying the root cause of product failures and helps meet legal and regulatory requirements. To achieve this, companies need to maintain strong data records, use unique identifiers like serial numbers and batch codes, and ensure proper documentation. For example, if a faulty batch of airbags is discovered, traceability helps the OEM identify which specific cars received those airbags, who manufactured them, and when. This saves millions by avoiding a full-scale vehicle recall. Risk management involves the proactive identification, assessment, and mitigation of risks that may impact product quality, safety, delivery timelines, and overall business operations. These risks can arise from design flaws, manufacturing process issues, supply chain disruptions, or other external factors. To manage these risks effectively, companies use structured tools like FMEA, Failure Mode and Effects Analysis, for both design and process phases. This also includes contingency planning, assessing supplier risks, and fostering a culture that anticipates problems before they happen. For example, before launching a new engine component, a manufacturer performs a process FMEA to identify possible failure points, like a machine breakdown or incorrect torque. Based on the analysis, they implement controls like scheduled maintenance, error-detecting tools, and backup systems or suppliers to reduce the impact of risks.